All right, I'm gonna try and do a quick video tutorial for the jersey names. I know a lot of people will be ironing on their names themselves, so I wanted to make sure you knew what you were doing, just so we don't have to worry about anyone ruining their jerseys. So I have Grayson's here. So when you get the name, it's going to have a sticky side with kind of a matte black color. You'll be able to actually, if you like run your fingers over it, you can feel the letters popping off. And then you're gonna have this really shiny side. The shiny side is the side that's gonna go down onto the jersey. So sticky side down, shiny side up, matte color side down. So about the jersey, or let's start with the iron. Some of the things about the iron is you want to make sure it's in the wool silk setting. I don't know if you can see that, but the other thing is you want to make sure your iron has no water in it. So make sure you empty out all the water. If your iron is similar to mine, you want to make sure that you just make sure that you get any water out. If you might want to test it on a towel or something to make sure that there's nothing sticky on your iron, that you're not getting any steam coming out of it, because you really don't want to use any steam or anything. Plus, it's sometimes nice if you're going to iron like the way I am. I like to iron on the floor because the way that you put this on, you need to add a lot of pressure. It's much easier to put pressure on the names if it's on the floor. I don't have to worry about my ironing board falling or anything. I'm pushing really hard if it's on the floor. All right, so you're gonna make sure, if you're doing it the way I am, towel on the floor that's really smooth, you don't have any bumps or anything. And you're lay down the jersey. The jersey has a lot of folds in it, so you wanna make sure that the area that you're putting the name, if you need to just push it down more, that it doesn't have any bumps behind it. It's really smooth in the back. All right, so even sometimes, before I do this, I'll go ahead and put Grayson's name down, some kind of eyeball, make sure it's gonna fit. I don't have any issues about where it goes. Okay, all right. Then I'll go ahead and just kind of pre-iron just in that spot. Try and make sure you don't iron on these numbers. I think these numbers are also HTV, and if you iron on them, you might pull up some of the numbers, so try not to iron on this actual jersey number. So then once you kind of pre-iron, you make sure everything's smooth, no bumps. You're gonna put Grayson's name or whoever your child's name down, kind of eyeball where you want it, make sure it's straight. Okay, then you're going to get some parchment paper, and this is optional. You could put the iron directly on this, shiny side up on the name. But if you're not sure about your iron, or if you're worried for any reason that it's probably best to just use the parchment paper. I just use regular parchment paper. I just pull, it's probably way too big, but and then I fold it over twice, and then I just put it over. This is just great value, it's nothing fancy. Then I get the iron. I'm gonna go ahead and begin ironing. So what you wanna do is you wanna press, okay? You don't wanna iron, like if you're ironing a shirt, you literally just wanna hold the heat down directly over the name. And you wanna do this for about 30 seconds. Grayson's name is pretty big, so nice thing about parchment paper, it's kind of see-through, so I can kind of see the areas of the G that I didn't get. So I'm going to actually use the wider part over here on the side to make sure that that his name gets evenly dispersed heat. And I do like to just literally put my whole body's pressure on it. And I'm just gonna go to the side one more time and make sure I got all of the back end of his name. If you are not using parchment paper for any reason, again, make sure that you do not get any of the jersey number, because you might end up pulling some of it off. All right, so I'm gonna look at the name. Looks pretty good. It doesn't look like there's anything. It looks hot. I mean, I can feel around it. I got all the areas. So what I'm gonna do now is turn it inside out. I'm actually gonna iron the back side of the name so you can kind of see here. This is where it's at. So make sure it's nice and flat. And I'm gonna iron, put some pressure on this back side. And you can use the parchment paper, you don't have to. I'm not going to for the back side because I want to make sure it gets, you know, plenty of heat. I don't want to have to hold it down as long, but I want to make sure that his name is really on there. So when you're washing the jerseys, you always want to make sure you wash them inside out. That's going to ensure that the name lasts for a really long time. I've been doing this for a while for my boys, and they have jerseys that are pretty old and all their names are still on it. They're not coming up at all. So they have yet to lose any letters or have any peeling. So now I'm going to turn it back around. Make sure you're careful because it is hot, so don't burn yourself. And then you're going to kind of look at it again, just make sure it looks good. And then you're gonna start to peel. You wanna peel while it's warm. It shouldn't be super hot, you should be able to touch it, no problem. And then you're gonna wanna slowly peel, but it should peel really easily. But you wanna look to see if it looks like the letters are coming up at all. If it looks like they are, like you kind of missed an area, you could just put this back down, put your parchment paper, you go another 30 seconds. But it looks good, just keep going. If at some point you start washing it and you notice some of the letters are coming up, you can always turn this inside out and iron it just where the letters are on the back side. And they should adhere again, no problem. But you want to make sure you do that right away once you start noticing it. If you are gonna iron jerseys, I always recommend ironing them inside out because of this letter or these numbers. These numbers are exactly the way this letter was put on. You would feel it, they feel exactly the same. So always iron inside out if you need to iron your child's jersey. That's it. The name is on there. It looks great. It should last for very many years or forever, really, as long as you take good care of it and wash it inside out. And if you do notice anything of the name coming up, you turn it inside out and just re-iron that area. Same way though, just pressure, not back and forth ironing. And that's it.